So if you didn't know that, now you do. This was a log that we recently cut down off of a redwood tree. Red oak. No, we ain't got any redwoods. Well, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, I want to do some comparisons on the MS660 right over here. I want to change the rim sprocket out on it and see how much of a difference it actually makes. Rim sprockets are fairly cheap. They're easy to change, so is it worth changing sprocket sizes to increase your chain speed or decrease it? This saw comes with a 7-pin rim sprocket, and I wanted to try an 8-pin out, so I got an 8-pin as well. And after I bought that 8-pin off Amazon, it popped up that there was a 10-pin, so I went ahead and picked up the 10-pin as well. That thing is massive. I did have to have a custom chain made. I'm running the 24-inch bar right now on it for this test, and the 24-inch bar requires 84 drive link, and with the 10 rim sprocket it needed a 85 drive link. So took that saw and bar to my aunt. We unspooled the Carlton roll and wrapped it around there to make a chain for it for the 10 rim. So that'll be the only difference. We won't be using the exact same chain because we can't when we get to the 10 rim. But let me show you these sprockets, and to me it's kind of fascinating how much bigger the 8 is compared to the 7 and also the 10. And also, quick question. This is that oak log that we were milling on here a while back. And when I was looking at this yesterday, there's a bunch of holes in here. Look like some sort of bug. Some right over here too. Those weren't there before. Do any of y'all know what bug is boring holes into this oak? Leave a comment, let me know. Okay, these rim sprockets are really easy to change, but this little C-clip here is really easy to lose. I actually came down here yesterday to film this video, got all set up and realized I didn't have enough time, but I was changing sprockets and went to pop this thing out and it flew about 10 feet. And I looked and looked and looked for it. Was not having the greatest luck. But, you know, said a little prayer, looked down, there it was. So careful when you take this off because it will spring and fly way where you don't want it to. So you pull that C-clip off, pull this washer off, and then your rim sprocket comes right off, and we can change it to whatever. Okay, here it is. This is the factory 7-pin, 7-tooth sprocket, if you will, that comes on the 660. This is standard size for a lot of saws. Some of the smaller saws run a 6, but for the most part, a lot of things run the 7. So this, let me show you it compared to the 8. Okay, there's the 7, there's the 8. Quite a bit of difference in it. This will still fit the 84 drive length that this is for, no issue. Quite a bit bigger in size. Now let me show you the factory one compared to the 10 that I got. All right, there's the 10 versus the 7. That dude's big. So the chain adjuster, I couldn't have it all the way back for the bar because it would not fit with this 10 rim sprocket. I had to run it up 5 or 6 turns to be able to clear the bar on this, but man, I don't know. That's obviously we're going to lose some torque. This thing's got gobs of torque anyway, so not really worried about that on this saw. If you had a smaller saw, that may be more of an issue. I think it's still going to pull it just fine, but I imagine the chain speed on this is going to be substantially faster than this one. So anyways, we're going to start with this, the 7-pin. I'll get this put back on. Let me go show you the log we're going to cut up on. Just another little comparison. That's substantially bigger. So you can see 3/8 7, 3/8 10, 3/8 8. So I think this is the one we're going to cut up on. This one's got too many knots and it's kind of hollow on that end, so I don't really want to mess with it on the mill or anything. But it does have this flare out here, so I'm going to pick it up with the pallet forks. I'm going to come right back in here somewhere and just cut it off. I'll figure out where 16 is and make sure I still got enough, and I'll just cut it there, and that'll just be a piece of firewood. This whole thing's gonna be a piece of firewood. Okay, install, same deal. Just put this 7 rim back on, put this washer on, and our C-clip. Poke it down in here, and I'll just take a little flat bladed screwdriver, just like that. Okay, let me get this thing put back together. So y'all leave some comments down below on these different sprocket sizes, what you think this thing's gonna do with them. I still don't know. I'm curious. That 10 rim, that thing's massive. I don't know. I don't know what the normal use would be for that size of sprocket, unless that's just something for people that race saws or something like that. One of these days I'll get a photo tack, because I would like to see what the difference is RPM wise on the chain with the 7 pin versus the 10 pin. I imagine it's gonna increase it quite a bit, but who knows. I don't own a photo tack. Used to have access to one, so maybe I need to look, see if they've got any cheaper. I know that one we used to use in the shop, it was a Caterpillar brand, and that thing was pricey. All right, so all put together. We got the log over here, so I'm gonna get set up for it, get my gloves on, earplugs, safety glasses, all that stuff. Warm this thing up a bit, and then we're gonna get to cutting and testing these different size sprockets. Okay, this trunk, 18 inches across, so decent size for it. Nothing majorly huge or anything. So let's go ahead and do a cut or two with the 7 pin on this and see how it does. Okay, we're going to swap to the 8 pin and give that a try. Okay, we got that thing swapped out to the 8 rim. It's raining pretty good right now, but we're going to continue. Okay, let's swap this thing out to the 10. We'll have to get the other chain, but I'm curious to see. I feel like I could tell a little torque, maybe loss on it. Not much. I mean, it pulled through just fine. So anyways, looks like we may have a break for a minute in the rain. So let me go ahead and get the 10 rim put on this and we'll be back. Okay. That's that. It's a little warm, not awful. You can see on this 8 rim, let me grab those others. I mean, you guys seen earlier in the video, but that 8 rim is decently smaller than that, but the 10 is substantially larger than that one. So this chain's got to come off because we cannot use this chain with that big sprocket. Okay, there's the 8. There's the 10. And actually, I almost always install these rim sprockets with the numbers facing out. That's actually the incorrect way. These are vent holes, engineered vent holes that should help blow the chips out. That's actually supposed to face out on these things. Don't know if anybody out there knew that. I don't really think it makes that big of a difference, but technically, see the 8 rim, it's got it. The 7, wherever it went, yeah, the 7 doesn't have it. So, I mean, it really doesn't matter which way they go out, but some of them do, and they're supposed to face out. So, if you didn't know that, now you do. That is a big, big dude. Brand new Carlton. I'm a fan of Carlton chains, which, I mean, Oregon makes them. Or the same company that owns Oregon owns Carlton. If you didn't know that either, now you do. So, good thing we had to tighten it because that bar is right up against that sprocket. So let's go ahead and just get it close. Okay, we got the 10 rim put on. So let me get that thing fired up and we'll put another couple cuts on this thing. See if we can tell any difference. Well, I don't know if it's any quicker or how much quicker. I mean, you guys will already know watching the videos. I'll go ahead and throw some times up or just a comparison, multi-screen it and let them all run at the same time. Okay, well, that cut really wasn't the straightest. Got several candidates. I don't think this log was probably the best one to do that comparison with. But I did manage to blow sawdust all over everything. All over the hood. I did manage to wake up the residents of this log. All coming out of that hole right down there. So, yeah, they're gonna be evicted here soon. So honestly, I don't know. I don't really know how much quicker it was. It didn't feel like it was just crazy fast. Again, we'll see in the video, doing a side-by-side comparison of the three, and we'll know then. The 10 rim, maybe it felt a little faster. Felt like I could bog the saw down quite a bit more by pushing on it. It never stopped. I didn't push on it that hard. I think I probably could have stopped it, but it did okay. So this was a red oak tree that we recently did cut down. The top was dead in it just a couple months ago. So this tree hadn't been sitting here that long. It's still fairly green. That was a live tree. So, but it does have a lot of knots and imperfections. This test would have been real good if I had a perfectly straight 14 to 16 inch trunk, 8-foot section head or whatever, and started making cuts on it. But if there's a lot of variations whenever I go back to edit this and look at the footage, we may end up testing this again and try to get a better log anyways to test it on. So I'm curious to know from you all, was that what kind of you was expecting or not? If you all are interested in these sprockets, I'll go ahead and leave Amazon links to them down in the description. They weren't very much, like $5 to $8, I think, somewhere in there. So if you want one, there'll be a link for it. It was just fun to get out here and run the saw today. We had some pretty good storms last night come through. A lot of rain, our pond. I'll show you all. I'll throw it at the end of the video. The inlet to the pond is running, and it hasn't rained. And well, besides that little shower that come through, it stopped, I guess, about 10 o'clock this morning, and it's the afternoon now, so really hasn't rained in several hours, but it's still flowing a lot of water in and out of the pond. So in y'all's opinion, these different size rim sprockets, the 10's still on, but the 7, 8, what would the uses be, in y'all's opinion, on why you'd want to run a bigger sprocket or not, or just stick with the 7? Again, I'm not exactly sure how much the chain speed is changing by changing the sprockets. Obviously, it's going to be running a little bit faster, but I don't know. I don't know how much difference, if it's enough to really even matter. But y'all leave a comment down below. Let me know why you would want to run a larger sprocket, because I don't know. But everyone, appreciate you all being here. Really appreciate you watching the video, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks. The inlet is full. Looks like I got some stuff to clean up around there. And the pond is muddier than normal. All this water turning it up.